Hi everyone, Stuart here again. It's Wednesday. Big events, or two big events today. A bit of a non-event from both of the major central banks in North America. We've got Canada in about 15 minutes. Look likely to, or markets are pricing in like 98% chance of 25 basis cut from the Bank of Canada, with data weakening there. So we've had a really weak Canadian dollar so far today. I don't think you can see that in the top corner. If I just get rid of the, actually, I'll pull that. I'll just pull that down a wee bit. Oops. Oh, there we go. Let me just feel that. There we are. Oh, it's dropped. Oh, something has it's changed. Yeah, you can see that a wee bit better on. No, let's go back to the other, the white one. You can see it's a bit clearer, isn't it? It's dollar CAD here on a 10-minute chart. You can see we've rallied to 140.70. Remember last night we went long here. If you followed us on the Discord group, do follow us on Discord group. We're having a really good run at the moment. We're 2 or 3 weeks into this now, and we were down yesterday 65 points. We were up 270 points on Monday, obviously following those index trades that were closed, and we're up. I can't do that math. Can I? 56, 80 points, I think, it's today so far, 70 odd points today. Big rally to 44.70. Let me just to the upside. And if I just tell you what I'll do, share the chart. There we are. Now, if we do it that way around, there we are. I can see all the chart then. You can see we've rallied up here to this is where we took our second profit just before 2 o'clock. Just one of those days we cut out the top, which is a very, very unusual for me, to be honest, when I'm trading it. So 144.67 was our second take profit. Our first take profit from last night was 144.34, which we caught. It filled us around about lunchtime, midday, as we'd moved up, and that's our entry from last night. We got in at 143.92. So do follow us on our Discord group. It's put up there each night. Some nights there's no trades. There was 2 last night. The other one was the Aussie yen. But we'll come back to that in a minute once the. In fact, we can have a look at that before the Canadian dollar news comes out. The Bank of Canada. Say the dollar. If you just got the daily, this is the 10 minutes. You can see why I got out when I did. It was like a recent high up here. This channel we've been in, we've been talking about this for yonks, haven't we? We can't quite get to 145 for dollar CAD. Sorry, let's make me smaller again now, because you can see all that now. We can't quite get to the psychological 145 here on this daily time frame, but you can see we're in a big channel at the top of the range, and that's always quite positive for anything. There we are. You can see that a bit better now. I've scrolled that in a wee bit. If we go up to the weekly time frame, you can see what a strong, obviously, move we've had. Down week last week, but bouncing back again this week. The 20-week moving average 20 is all the way down at 141.30. The 50-week moving average. The annual average, 138. So big down week, relatively big down week last week, but you'd expect that having had such a strong rally. We need to break over 145. So just back to everybody's trading range, the daily, you can see consolidating at high is strong. We had a breach, and a significant breach indeed on the 20th, under the 20-day moving average, but we've clawed that back. It's taken a while. But the big rejection there. We were short. That didn't work out, did it? Earlier in the week, I think it was, or last. I can't remember. Anyway, and we were long last night, and we're in the money. So on that one, and we're closed out completely on that particular trade. So a breach of 145 would be positive. A positive day so far, but as you can see, we've rolled over in the last 10 minutes or so, the last half an hour. There was chatter again. It's obviously all based on things that Trump says or doesn't say. But remember, the 1st of February still penciled in, well, at least in his mind, as tariff day for Canada and Mexico. It's 2 neighbours, north and south of the great United States. And there's chatter that probably obviously not going to happen now, but he still might say something on Saturday. He probably will say something on Saturday. Remember, the 1st is a Saturday, about upcoming tariffs. obviously the whole political situation in Canada is a bit of a mess at the moment. Trump's still talking about trying to make Canada the 51st state. They depend on us wholeheartedly, blah 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 blah, usual. So there will be something undoubtedly, I'm pretty sure, on Saturday. Remember last weekend there was the they tried to do the same to Colombia. Colombia responded quite aggressively when they wouldn't let the military planes land, and there was a tariff tit for tat there, and they both backed down in the end. So we'll see what actually comes of it. But anyway, the dollar CAD's been very much under pressure in the higher time frames. Here in the shorter time frame, ahead of a very expected, no surprise, rate hike. Rate cut from the Bank of Canada. We are still trading over 144, 144.42 currently. Let's just have a quick look at that other position we had on from last night as well. Trade panel, which is the Aussie, not the trade panel. Wrong one, you fool. The order panel. Don't want that. The Aussie yen, wasn't it? We were short last night, and that's also hit its first target. Aussie yen. That's Aussie yen gone up here before. Aussie yen's here. Sorry, excuse me. So this is our daily trade from last night's trade. So we were short here on the close last night. 97. Whatever, I can't remember, 97.14 I think it was. I've checked the Discord for the details, guys. I'll show you it. I'll share the Discord group up here and share that in a minute. I'll come back to that. I'll have to show you that. Calendar, there we are. So we were short here at whatever it was, 97, whatever. Anyway, we got 40 pips out of that one as well. So T1's been hit. I've pulled the stop loss down now to entry. Obviously, this can be quite volatile. It's very sentiment driven, the Aussie yen. It's always a good indicator of risk on, risk off, this pair. But day before, we'd had a big breach and rejection of the 50-day moving average. Big candle move down. We didn't actually enter that till last night. My other systems would have triggered short, having been long here. So that would have been stopped out and then short on the similar sort of price. On the 27th, we actually entered here on our Discord group for brothers at thePropTrade.com on the 28th, and sent some pips in the bag today. So that's still open. 50% of that was closed at the first profit level or first target level, and we'll see where we go from here. You can see there's a bit of resistance. Next level down was 96.30. And then it's 96.20 and then 95.75. So you can see those levels here on the end of the day. You know, it's bounced quite well. So we'll see what actually happens when today closes out. But they're end of day trade, so they're sort of set and forget unless the stop loss or the take profit get triggered. And just while we're here, the other trade that's still open, we've got 3 open at the moment, is the pound Aussie. Just double check that. Yeah, pound Aussie. It's all written down in bits of paper here. Pound Aussie from whenever it was, the 24th on Monday. So stop loss now is right up here. I think we moved that last night, didn't we? 98.49 or 98.50 or whatever it was. 98.44. There we are. 198.45 is where the stop loss is currently. And will continue to move high. So again, 50% of that was closed on the first target on the first day, again on the 27th. And here we are, 29th, moving higher again. So Aussie under pressure because particularly of the underwhelming, or didn't help overnight, the Australian inflation data coming in softer than expected. Sorry, I should have started with Happy New Year to all my Asian colleagues and friends. It's the official year of the snake now. Lots of Asian markets closed and celebrating. China's closed for the whole week. I think Malaysia's closed for 4 days, South Korea for 3 days, Hong Kong for 4 days as well. So it's official New Year for official new Lunar New Year kicks off today. So congratulations, everybody. Hope you're having a great time if anybody's here listening or watching this later on. So 3%. The central rate in Canada is expected, more than expected to. I'm saying more than expected to go down to in a few minutes, 5 minutes there. No particular change really, or anything that's going to excite the market with regard to the policy report or the rate statement, but you can never tell. A bit like Mr. Powell later on today is the main game in town today. The FOMC decision again. There's a press conference. There's no policy announcements from Powell or the Fed later on tonight, but more on that tonight when we do this all again just before 7 o'clock. GMT, 7 o'clock, 1900 hours, Universal Standard Time, UTC or GMT as we are here in London still. So Canadian dollar, one that's very much in place. So let's just go back to the dollar CAD on that one. Those of you who joined me yesterday, we were looking at the we were trading gold in the session live yesterday. Where are we? A few minutes to go. So sorry, that's the wrong chart. I want Canadian dollar, you fool. There we are. So it's a strong day. Let's just go. We were running with this. Let's just do this. We were running this platform or layout yesterday. We were looking at the parabolic SAR and the VWAP for scalpers on Heiken Ashi candles. These are actually standard candles, I think, on here now. Yeah. Again, you see that it's still biased to the upside. There's our VWAP here up at the daily time frame. It's much more for a scalping strategy, but you can see the parabolics are still way down here, still positive as we moved up. So you get a better impression of why I took that second profit, second target as we got to this this sort of combined high at 44.67. I got out at, and it went to that 44.70 high. But yeah, sorry, we were using this. We were using the 5 and the 10 minute VWAP as a strength indicator. And as you can see here, remember VWAP stands for value weighted average price, and it is what it says on the tin. If you're above it, you want to be looking to go long. If it's below it, you want to be looking to go short or with the trend or with, that's what it's saying, the average price. We're above it, we're off it. It acts as a balance. And again, as you see here, through the Asian session, not a lot going on, meandering around. And then Europe wakes up and we off and run. We ran to 44.50, 44.30 zone and then went sideways. Now we ran again ahead of the immediate head of the decision. Dollar's actually getting a bit. It's not just the Canadian dollar, but again, so this would have gone short there on that red candle there, and here on this, if you're trying to scalp this or scalping this ahead of the session, we would have gone short there, haven't been long all the way up here. Question mark, obviously going short, you're against the trend because we're above this. So whether we take that or not, it's that's up to you as an individual trader. Personally, I wouldn't, because it's had a quite strong run. But here on these short-term timeframes, it's you should be happy to switch from one to the other. So we'll see how it all pans out shortly. So I say cooler inflation from Australia this morning. We've had Canada. Sorry, the Australian stories added to the commodity stories around the weaker commodity currencies, the Kiwi, the Aussie, and the Canadian dollar. It's the strength of the US dollar that's driving most of this, but these particular commodity currencies have been suffering the most of the majors. However, on the flip side of that is we've still got a very, very strong gold market. Now we can see here gold running into its 5 minute VWAP and then bouncing off it just now, but parabolics are still positive. So we'll see some shorts. It looks like shorts were placed around, or sell orders were placed around the parabolics are there on that, sorry, the VWAP on that 5 minute time frame. But if we just take this up to the higher time frames, it's having a relatively negative day gold. So you can see they started here sort of flat and it's sort of biased to the downside. So let's just flip back to the calendar and So yeah, it's confirmed 3%. No surprise there from the central bank. That one wasn't updated. Let's just go back to the chart. Dollar CAD probably hasn't moved on that. There's nothing, I don't think, from what I'm reading here. No, we've just go back to 5 minutes. So there we go. So the having been sort of weakened quite significantly today. Let's go up to a higher time frame. Let's take the 30-minute. Get a better. So having there we are. So having weakened very significantly today, the Canadian dollar, it's come back a wee bit. But 144 remains, or dollar CAD remains above 144. We trade at 144.28 post the statement. Let me just have a quick read of a summarized statement. Full interest. So we're at 3%. Reduced target rate to 3%. The bank has also announced its plan to complete normalization of its balance sheet, ending quantitative tightening. So remember, the Canadians were the first to start tightening. So they're obviously starting to end that. We'll restart asset purchases in early March, beginning gradually so that the balance sheet stabilizes and then grows modestly in line with the growth of the economy. That's assuming it does grow. So that's an interesting note. So they're ending their tightening and starting to rebalance their state. The bank will restart asset purchases in early March, beginning gradually. Is typical bank speak. So as not to upset markets. Adjustment to the deposit rate and some changes to terms and conditions of overnight reserve and the repo rate. In addition, the bank is realign its framework for overnight reserves, the ORR as it's called, with operations effective 30th January, where they're required ORR will be conducted through a multi in a minimum of 8 billion Canadian dollars, individual dealer limits of $3 billion. So that's nothing particularly new on there. So the main news is that rates have, sorry, excuse the top of my head. Rates have come down by 25 basis points. That was very much priced in, ending quantitative tightening, and it's going to rebalance its balance sheet as it starts to buy some assets, i.e. treasuries, Canadian treasuries, to stop stabilizing its balance sheet, and that's going to start in early March, so another month before that starts. So it doesn't, as you might expect, if we look at the if we look at this 5-minute chart, the actual reaction to the news, it was an initial strengthening of here's the actual news here. It was initial strengthening of the which we're still into. We're still, that 5-minute candle isn't finished yet, or this 5-minute candle isn't finished yet. Initial strengthening of the Canadian dollar. Interestingly, right into the VWAP, and now it's being bought. So that, to me, although this is coming down here, that's suggesting support here, and we'll see if it's going to run back down there. We've had a good day, so we could return back up there. It's not enough for me to place a trade on that, to be honest, because we've had a very significant weakening of the dollar, but we're back to where it was before it spiked higher. So we need to break this sort of range here on this short term, but that looks like a potential buy because we're still above the VWAP. It did get very overextended. I'll talk about a rune. I'll go through the rune later, but that's relatively positive, that cross as well, or negative. Yeah, green one. So that might be worth a small potential long position on Canadian dollar from 144.35 as we're in this cluster area, and then that the VWAP has provided support. Obviously, be careful how long you held it with the Fed running. So actually, let's just do that. Let's see, it's the first of the up candles, but anyway, we'll see how that plays out. This move was a weakening of the news about the tariffs. I'm pretty sure because that's coincided with that news breaking earlier. Okay, so just put a little line on there. It's a potential horizontal red, so it's a bit of a buy area. I'll change the color of that because it's can't see it, can you? Actually make it right there. Yeah, so and that short-term bounce there, given that there's clearly some buy orders set at the VWAP itself, and interesting we came into this pivot area, this cluster area here, and then we've bounced off it. So see if we can move back up. Well, we have had a very significant move to the upside. Is the only caveat, but certainly you could have your stop loss there and trail it up if this turns around from this 144. As I think 144.34 would have been our entry to the upside. We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's have a look at everything else. Yesterday we had a bounce back, so we had obviously miserable Monday. The AI job seeker, I was going to call it, deep seek pinging that. A guy called Liang Weng Feng is the guy behind, or the chief face to the Western world, the public, behind DeepSeek. It is I was watching a guy on Bloomberg earlier that I've watched for many years. I have deep respect for. His name escapes me off the top of my head, but I know he's chief investment officer at Lafayette College. He called Monday a game changer, a major game changer. I did Nassim Taleb. I saw him interviewed as well. I think that was CNBC. If you don't know who Nassim Taleb is, go and look him up. Okay, Nassim Taleb, go and look him up. The man behind the black swan. Very visionary, interesting character. Probabilities professor who's turned into a doyon of the markets. What was I saying? A game-changing movement. These massively overvalued, or not massively, but very high forward earnings on some of these companies. Nvidia 100 plus. Tesla I was looking at this morning. Forward earnings are 100 times current share price on expectations of these new future these robo taxis and all the rest of it. Deliveries started to sort of stall a wee bit in some of the quarters for Tesla as well, but they're still highly valued forward earnings, and some of the AI stocks that have driven the stock market higher, particularly the Nasdaq. The stocks and something like this. Let's use the stock. So this is Monday's complete shakeout and recovery yesterday. So the Nasdaq yesterday, Nasdaq 100 was up 2% yesterday, having been trounced by 3% on Monday. So it's sort of, well, what was all the fuss about? But the valuations going forward will be very much more under scrutiny. The earnings and the technology is still there. It's just going to be a lot cheaper by the looks of things to produce. So will we need these massive data centers? Will we need all these chips we were talking about? Probably. It just means things can go faster because we're opening it up more, and that's what DeepSeek has managed to do. Obviously, the Americans getting really twitchy about their own technology, and as I said yesterday, it was the same after the Second World War when Japan was in the same position that China's in now, taking Western technology and rewriting how we made internal combustion engines and certainly motorcycles and stuff like that, and electronics and electrical goods. That was a story. And is on the move. See what happens there. But generally, so if we just go back to the daily time frame, it was a blip on Monday. It gapped lower, but we are still at relatively all-time highs. And interestingly, the DAX this morning has gone to all-time highs again, and the FTSE is also back over or through that 5,500 level again. and the 5-6 area we were looking for. So say the DAX 21,650 and continuing to move up. So you can't see here on the DAX, for instance, the mayhem that happened on Monday over in the US because it's not exposed to the AI group. Remember, it's only 40 German companies, principally industrial companies, but the more narrow Nasdaq 100, big intraday spike down, big closing down 3%, bounced 2% of what was left yesterday, but still an engulfing candle there. If you look as a technician, the gap's still there, which probably needs to be filled first. But are we, moving lower? We'll find out a lot as earnings season rolls on, and it's a big day today. We've got Tesla reporting after hours. We've got Microsoft reporting after hours. We've got Meta, Facebook group reporting after hours today, and then tomorrow, what used to be the daddy of them all, Apple, also reporting this week. So it's Tech Week for earnings season today this week. Nasdaq bounced back quite significantly, but yeah, it says many see it as a pivotal moment. So over the next few months, it could be some silencing of portfolios, perhaps away from this massive exposure a lot of them had to just the AI group. But the positivity of that seems to be the broadening of the growth expectations for Canada as well. So we'll see. Speaking of growth, Bank of Canada in its statement has just said GDP is at 1.8% versus 2.1%. So you see the weakness of the Canadian dollar there. So we've moved back up on that number. Let's go, where were we? 10 minutes we were looking at? I can't remember. Yeah, that's where we were looking to get long, wasn't it? So 144.34. So we're in the money. We're in 10 pips in the money on that. Parabolic SARS flipped on this particular strategy, but what's worked there clearly on the short time 5-minute chart, wasn't it? Scalping time frames of the the VWAP has proved its worth yet again there. So it's got us in at this 44.34 area, and we're currently trading at 44.47. So if you're a scalper, in and out, or wait for this trend to now turn from green to red again. So we've bounced. I'll wait for the confirmation that it would be as the parabolic SAR flips here with this particular strategy. Again, guys, it's not the strategy that makes you money or loses you money. It's your application of the strategy. Can you follow the rules? There's hundreds of strategies. I've got 5 or 6. I think you'll let me have 5 here, don't they? Load of layout. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 layouts that all can make money. And all can be applied at all, or not on all time frames. Some of them better at shorter time frames, like the VWAP. Others, like the super trend here, this one here, will also work on small time. You see it working on a 5-minute time frame. But it's better at a higher time frame. Super trend is a ATR based indicator. Here, that's what the green line is, or the red. It flips between green and red. If it's flat, it means there's no trend. If it's moving, i.e. angled, which is what you want as a trend follower, the angle is up and we're positive. I've stuck a 50-day moving average on this as well, or 50 period moving average on this, I should say. So up to this point, the super trend was positive here for dollar CAD, and then it went negative here as it's gone from from green to red, and it's under the red, so that's negative there at 14.20. So this would have been short 14 against the trend again because it's still up. So, but let's see the test of the 50. The 50's held. We had a brief move under, and now we're back over it. So, just like it's not as positive as as we saw with the VWAP. The VWAP was down here, wasn't it? Giving us that entry at this 134, 144, whatever it was back on the VWAP. But anyway, yeah, I'll say my point. I'm dribbling on again. The point is, it's not the strategy, it's not the setups, it's your application of it, it's your risk management. How big a lot size are you taking? Where's your stop loss? Do you accept your stop loss? Too many people don't trade with a stop loss and they don't accept the stop loss and they move it down as the price gets closer to it. It's all about when you lose a small amount, guys. That's what keeps you in business. And again, that's the beauty of the prop trading business, and particularly us at thePropTrade.com. We're very proud of our setup and our products, and the standard setup. People are always in a rush. They're rushing to the one stage, which is fine. But you've got to follow the rules. You've got to stay within the rules. Otherwise, you blow the challenge. But the ceiling, there isn't a ceiling. Get funded with a $200,000 account. If you want to jump straight in with 200,000, do so. If you've got a few $100s to invest, but the rules are still the same. You can see here, 10%, 5%, 10%. Obviously, you get some benefits for having a bigger account, but if you can do it with a $5,000 account, if you only got $50 to get you started, and prove yourself over the 2 stages or the first stage, build up, have multiple accounts, have multiple positions on multiple accounts. But again, I can't tell you what to do. I would be looking to have a bit of start with one account. A few $100, $50,000, it's $345, 15%. Off that brings it, we got so if you put in 50, thank you 15 in here, thank you with a U 15, that gives you a 15% discount off something that is very well priced anyway. From the 345, you'll get that back if you get to a funded account. You get that and then any profits you make as a funded trader, obviously you can the profit share starts from 80%. And the profits you get, we keep 20% for our running costs. So we are thePropTrade.com. You can see that. We are thePropTrade.com. We are grown-ups. We know what we're doing. The market is limitless, and we're here to help you. And I'm specifically here to help you. So any questions, please stick it in the question box, or stick it in the on the Discord group. So as I say, there's no questions actually in the live broadcast at the moment, but we'll see how we get on later. So where were we? That was I was showing some strategies. Let's go back to the one which one did we have open now? It was a VWAP, wasn't it? There's the entry we talked about. We were looking to go along there. I didn't actually place the trade down here, but you get my drift. There we are. And now what's happening now, even in this 5 minutes, 15 minutes into the announcement post news, we got the parabolic size now flipped. And it's all the way down there right on the VWAP, which is very interesting. So that's nicely in the money. As I say, I would have had perhaps the initial stop loss down here. Now I'd have probably I'm happy to have pulled it up to around about there, 44.30, 30.04, and then just trail it up like we do on an end of day basis, or until the candle turns green. Candle suddenly turns red. But on these short terms, don't get too greedy. And let me just go back to the gold chart. As we did yesterday, we were out, and the market just kept going, but we were out because we were showing you stuff live. So this was yesterday. There's that wasn't yesterday. Where's yesterday gone? I've got to the hourly chart. It was here, wasn't it? Yesterday we were in the we bought down here, hadn't we? Then we bought again here on the 5 minute chart where we were live. We did this live yesterday. Let me just go back to the 10 minute chart, see if I can scroll back to it. Yesterday, there we are. So that was the one before we went live. We went. I'd seen the bottom of the V. See how the VWAP was tested here. This is the 10 minute time frame. We've got the 5 minute time. I think I took it. No, I did take it on the 10 minute time frame. Yeah. To the upside, and we trailed that, and we spiked out, and we closed it here at the end of, or just before the end of the webinar. The market continued to rally. Some people look at that saying, "Oh, well, you only got from here to here, Stuart, in whatever that was, 12:20 to 13:50, so an hour and a bit. You took that out of the market." But I went off and did something else. Others said, well, you should have left it on. It could have run. You've missed all of this. Well, yeah, but that's trade. That's what happened. You know, don't worry about it. It could have gone the other way, couldn't it? It could have gone backwards. You can't get hung up on missed opportunities. And so many traders, regardless of their experience, end up trading that a way that doesn't fit their personality, it doesn't fit their psychology, just because they think they're copying somebody like me, or they're copying somebody else on some other platform. But it's not how they would approach risk and how they manage themselves. You've got to find the thing that works for you. I'm more of a trend following guy. I know that. I like to be on the right side. At this point in my life, I just end of day stuff, set and forget. But it's good to have these short-term approaches as well, because again, I flip a different side of the brain, different strategy for different setups. So yeah, I mean, here gold here in the 10-minute time frame, it's relatively weak, isn't it? We just can't get through the VWAP. The average price can't break over this 2760 area so far in the last hour or so. So I don't know what happened. I must have been playing with. I was speaking to somebody about gold, yeah, and we just got just as a demonstration. But you can see we ran to the VWAP. That was a short. I think yes, that was a short position actually, because we were under the VWAP on this. I think it was on the 5-minute time frame, and then reversed and stopped us out. But it's rallied to the VWAP, and it's gone again. It's gone again. So that's again looks short, a bit like the CAD position is. But again, where are we on the day? We have to check all that sort of stuff out. Anyway, I've rattled on long enough. I'll be back later on this afternoon for the Fed announcement. Let's just have a look at cryptos. We haven't actually looked at cryptos today. Bitcoin 102, 200 continues to remain relatively volatile, but pivoting around. We'll go to the daily time frame. So again, consolidate. Let's go back to the white chart because they've got more lines on that one. Consolidating at highs above the key 100,000 level here, which we went into test yesterday. We'd been under it on Monday, and we bounced off it this morning, and we're at 102,000. So again, still in this consolidation range, and see where we go from here. But the longer this goes on, the bigger the breakout can be, and what a breakout we had post-election. The excitement of inauguration day, and now we haven't given up the stuff. That's the key thing. We haven't given up the 100,000 handle. We certainly haven't given up the 92,000 handle. They're the two big lines in the sand, and the 95 between the two. And again, the 50-day moving average now for all us sits at 99,000 for Bitcoin. So again, crypto still looks like it's got a strong future. At 3 o'clock, markets are open. Nvidia's down another 3% again today. So we've got a weak start to the stock markets in the United States today. Let me just have a quick recce of where we are. I forgot I was a bit later today than normal. But yeah, we're all in the red. Nvidia 2.3%, Apple's down 1%, Microsoft down at 1.25%. Yeah, so the Dow's up 77 points, the Nasdaq's down 77 points, and the S&P is down 6.75 at the moment. So there we go. Right, I'm going to wrap this one up for now. I'll see you all later, 6:45 GMT. If there's no questions, I will wrap this now. Take care, everyone. We'll see you later for the Fed. Bit of a non-event. Let's just leave you with dollar CAD, see if we're still good to go. I think we will be. Go back to our parabolic saw, and we go back to our 5-minute time frame. Oh, there we go. We've given up and we're back. So we'd have been out there there for virtually no gain. 44.35 from 44. 34, so a pip we've made on that. If we're following this going to red, but at the moment the parabolics are still there, so that's still relatively positive as far as I was concerned. But anyway, there we go. That's trading live, and that's trading the news. Non-event really from Bank of Canada, although the caveat was the change in their asset purchase allocation, which they're going to restart. They're stopping quantitative tightening. They're restarting purchasing treasuries, obviously Canadian treasuries, from the early March. So that was a bit of a surprise, which helped the Canadian dollar initially. Before that, it weakened quite significantly on the strength of the US dollar across the board before that. So we're now all eyes on the Fed later on today. So take care. I'll see you all later, and I'll try and be a bit briefer later on tonight. All right. All the best.